Imagine you're living on the largest icy island on the planet. A place where 80% of its surface is covered by permafrost up to 2,000 meters thick. Only 57,000 people live on this landmass of over 2 million square kilometers. And then, suddenly, US President Donald Trump announces he wants to buy the entire island. Not to lease, not to partner, but to buy outright.
President Trump has repeatedly stated that the United States needs to acquire Greenland, the largest icy island on Earth. According to Reuters, his administration has discussed an ambitious plan to pay between $10,000 and $100,000 US to each Greenland citizen to support this historic deal.
Let's repeat that number. Greenland has about 57,000 residents. Paying each of them $100,000 would cost nearly $6 billion. It sounds enormous, yet in reality, this could be one of the most profitable investments in American history. Why? Let's uncover what lies beneath thousands of meters of ice.
Greenland is not just ice and snow. Beneath an ice sheet, averaging 2 kilometers thick, lies one of the most valuable mineral reserves on Earth. Geologists call it a geological treasure, shaped by 4 billion years of Earth's history and home to some of the oldest rocks on the planet.
But the biggest question remains, what does Greenland have that makes President Trump willing to spend billions of dollars? And why are China and Russia quietly watching as well? The answer lies in 3 key factors: rare earths, oil, and geostrategic position.
First, geography. Greenland sits between North America and Europe, acting as a natural bridge between the two continents. As Arctic ice melts, new shipping routes emerge. The Arctic route from Asia to Europe is roughly 40% shorter than the traditional route through the Suez Canal.
The United States understood this long ago. Since 1951, it has maintained Thule Air Base in northern Greenland, one of the most critical military installations of the Cold War. Today, it continues to monitor ballistic missiles and space activity.
As the ice melts, the Arctic is no longer a frozen void, but a new arena of great power competition. Russia is expanding its icebreaker fleet. China calls itself a near-Arctic state. Whoever controls Greenland controls a critical part of the Arctic's future.
According to recent data, an area roughly the size of Albania, about 28,000 square kilometers, has lost its ice cover since 1995. This process is accelerating, making previously buried mineral resources increasingly accessible. Greenland is an autonomous territory of Denmark, a NATO member. In theory, NATO already has influence here. But Trump wants more. He wants Greenland to become part of the United States, with full control over military, economic, and resource matters.
Now we arrive at the real reason Greenland is so valuable: rare earth elements. Rare earths are a group of 17 metallic elements that are essential to modern technology. We are talking about neodymium, dysprosium, praseodymium, unfamiliar names that nonetheless exist inside nearly every electronic device you use today. The smartphone in your hand contains rare earths. An electric Tesla vehicle uses around 1 kilogram of rare earth elements in its motor. A single wind turbine requires up to 200 kilograms. Missile systems, F-35 fighter jets, military satellites, all depend on rare earths. Without them, modern technology would nearly collapse. And here lies the major problem. China currently controls nearly 50% of the world's rare earth reserves, about 44 million tons. More importantly, it dominates around 90% of global rare earth processing capacity. This creates a highly dangerous strategic dependency for the Western world.
According to the U.S. Geological Survey, Greenland holds approximately 1.5 million tons of rare earth reserves. This is nearly equivalent to the entire current reserve of the United States, estimated at 1.9 million tons. Crucially, most of Greenland's resources remain largely unexplored and undeveloped.
Greenland's most significant rare earth deposit is Quanah Field, located in the southern part of the island. It is considered one of the largest undeveloped rare earth deposits in the world. Quanah Field is especially rich in neodymium and dysprosium, key elements for permanent magnets used in electric vehicles and wind turbines.
Reports suggest Greenland could supply over 25% of future global demand for neodymium and dysprosium, amounting to nearly 40 million tons of resources. As the world shifts toward clean energy, this figure becomes strategically critical. Global rare earth demand over the next 20 years is expected to increase fivefold.
The second major deposit is Tan Breeze, also located in southern Greenland. In addition to rare earths, it contains tantalum, niobium, and zirconium, all critical high-tech metals. Notably, Tan Breeze is one of only 2 projects granted extraction permits out of 147 mineral licenses in Greenland.
And who owns Tan Breeze? An American company called Critical Metals Corp. According to sources, the U.S. government intervened to prevent Chinese investors from acquiring the project. This clearly indicates that Washington views Greenland as a strategic asset in its technological competition with China.
Why are rare earths so crucial? Consider the numbers. In 2020, global consumption stood at around 240,000 tons. By 2030, it is expected to reach 450,000 tons. By 2040, demand could climb to 750,000 tons. This is the gold mine of the 21st century. But there is a major obstacle. In 2021, Greenland's government, led by the Inuit Ataqatigiit Party, imposed a ban on uranium mining. This is critical because most rare earth deposits in Greenland contain uranium as a byproduct, making extraction environmentally and politically sensitive. The Quanah Field deposit contains approximately 270,000 tons of uranium, enough to rank as the world's 8th largest uranium deposit. However, uranium concentration here reaches 300 parts per million, while Greenland's new law allows a maximum of only 100 ppm. In effect, this regulation has completely frozen the Quanah Field project. The grassroots movement Uranium No successfully pushed for legal change. Locals feared radioactive pollution would devastate fishing and tourism, Greenland's 2 economic pillars. The movement's founder, Marianne Paviasen, was even elected to Greenland's parliament.
Energy Transition Minerals, owner of the Quanah Field project, has filed a lawsuit against Greenland's government, seeking $11.5 billion in compensation. That amount is 4 times Greenland's 2023 GDP. The case remains unresolved, creating significant uncertainty for investors.
A geologist remarked that political risk in Greenland is now rated higher than in many African countries. This is a striking paradox, given that Greenland is a territory of Denmark, one of the world's most politically stable nations. Beyond rare earths, Greenland holds other strategic minerals. Graphite, a key material for electric vehicle batteries, is widespread across the island. The Amitswak graphite project, developed by GreenRock, directly targets the rapidly growing global EV battery market. Gold tells a different story. At Surmiligarsk Fjord and the Nalunak mine in southern Greenland, Amarok Minerals has begun production. This signals the early formation of a precious metals mining industry in Greenland. Diamonds are also present in Greenland. Kimberlite pipes, geological structures that transport diamonds from deep underground to the surface, have been identified since the 1970s. Key areas lie in western Greenland, including Isua, Itiliarsuk, and the northwest Laujkok coast. Sapphires and rubies were mined in Greenland until 2023. Although operations are currently suspended, the potential remains. In the future, Greenland could become a significant supplier of precious gemstones.
Industrial metals such as copper, lead, zinc, and iron are also abundant. Copper, in particular, is fundamental to all electrical systems. As the world electrifies, copper demand will surge, and Greenland could play a key role. Titanium and vanadium are found in southwestern and southeastern Greenland. Titanium is prized in aerospace and medical industries for its strength and light weight. Vanadium is essential for high-performance alloy steels. Both are strategic defense materials. Tungsten, the metal with the highest melting point, is also found in central and eastern Greenland. It is used in armor-piercing ammunition, drill bits, and high-stress industrial applications. Amid rising geopolitical tensions, tungsten is a critical strategic resource. A 2023 study by the Geological Survey of Denmark and Greenland found that out of 34 raw materials classified as critical by the EU, Greenland contains 25. By US standards, Greenland holds 43 out of 50 minerals considered critical for national security. These figures place Greenland among the most mineral-rich regions on Earth, comparable to Australia, Canada, and parts of Africa. The crucial difference is that Greenland remains largely untapped. We now turn to another treasure, oil and gas. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, northeastern Greenland, including ice-covered regions, may contain around 31 billion barrels of oil equivalent. This figure is comparable to the total proven crude oil reserves of the United States. Let that number sink in. 31 billion barrels of oil. At a price of $80 per barrel, the total value would reach roughly $2.48 trillion. And this estimate covers only onshore and ice-covered areas, excluding offshore reserves. The Jameson Land Basin is considered Greenland's most promising oil and gas region. Its geological structure resembles Norway's continental shelf, which helped transform Norway into a major energy power. However, Greenland's harsh conditions make extraction costs significantly higher.
Recent studies suggest that large petroleum systems may exist throughout Greenland's offshore waters. If confirmed, total reserves could far exceed current estimates. positioning Greenland as one of the world's most promising energy regions.
Ironically, in 2021, Greenland's government banned all new oil and gas exploration and extraction. The decision aimed to protect the environment and promote sustainability, but it also drove major energy companies away from the island.
Since the 1970s, around 40 oil companies have explored Greenland. A total of 15 exploratory wells were drilled, but none resulted in commercial discoveries. Falling oil prices and stricter environmental regulations pushed companies like Shell and ExxonMobil to withdraw.
When oil prices fell below $60 per barrel in the mid-2010s, extraction in Greenland became economically unviable. However, if prices rise again to $100 or $120 per barrel, as seen in the past, the picture could change entirely.
Greenland's oil ban is not permanent. The territory banned drilling in the 1950s, reopened exploration in 2013, and banned it again in 2021. With future political and economic shifts, this policy could once again be revised.
What makes Greenland so extraordinarily mineral-rich? The answer lies in its 4-billion-year geological history. Some of its rocks are among the oldest on Earth, formed when the planet itself was young and unstable.
Greenland is part of the North American Craton, an ancient geological shield. Around 3.8 billion years ago, intense volcanic activity, metamorphism, and tectonic collisions created unusually rich concentrations of valuable minerals.
The Gardar complex in southern Greenland, formed about 1.3 billion years ago, hosts some of the world's largest rare earth deposits. It is a legacy of deep magmatic activity that concentrated and crystallized rare earth elements. Over millions of years, glacial erosion stripped away deep rock layers, bringing minerals once buried kilometers underground closer to the surface. This allows many Greenland deposits to be mined via open pit methods, significantly reducing extraction costs. But there is a reason this treasure remains largely untapped. Greenland is one of the harshest places on Earth. Winter temperatures can drop to -60 degrees Celsius. Powerful winds, blizzards, and sea ice make transportation and construction extremely dangerous. Greenland has no road network connecting its cities. There are no railways. The entire island has only about 150 kilometers of paved roads. Transportation relies on ships and aircraft. In winter, many regions are completely isolated, driving infrastructure costs dramatically higher. Greenland lacks deep-water ports capable of handling large cargo ships. Existing ports serve only small and medium vessels. To export minerals at an industrial scale, billions of dollars would be required to build modern port infrastructure. Energy is another major challenge. Greenland relies heavily on imported diesel for electricity. Power costs are among the highest in the world. Large-scale mining requires stable and affordable energy, something Greenland currently lacks. Experts estimate that mining costs in Greenland are 3 to 5 times higher than the global average. This means only deposits with exceptionally high grades or extremely valuable minerals are economically viable. Beyond economics lie human and environmental factors. Most Greenlanders are Inuit, deeply connected to the land and sea. Their livelihoods depend on hunting, fishing, and tourism. Any mining project requires local community consent.
As seen with the uranium ban, Greenlanders are willing to reject profits if the environment is at risk. This is a democratic society where community voices truly matter. Money alone cannot guarantee smooth progress. Every mining project must undergo rigorous environmental impact assessments that can take years. Even after approval, projects may still be canceled if strong community opposition emerges, as seen with Kvanefjeld.
Greenland's annual GDP is roughly $3 billion. Meanwhile, a single major mining project can cost between $5 and $10 billion. Greenland lacks the capital to develop such projects independently and must rely on foreign investment.
As a result, Greenland has become an arena of great power competition. The United States, China, Russia, and the European Union all seek influence here. Each has its own strategy, but the shared goals are resources and geographic control. China quietly entered Greenland in the early 2010s. Beijing proposed funding airports, investing in mining projects, and acquiring local companies. In 2016, a Chinese firm nearly purchased the Kvanefjeld mine for $500 million. The United States responded forcefully. In 2019, Washington expanded its presence in Greenland, reopened its consulate after 60 years, and warned Denmark about the China threat. As a result, several Chinese investment proposals were rejected.
China did not retreat easily. In 2018, it released its Arctic White Paper, calling itself a near-Arctic state and claiming legitimate interests in the region. Beijing aims to integrate Arctic sea routes into its Belt and Road Initiative. Russia is the true Arctic power, with the longest coastline along the Arctic Ocean. It operates the world's largest icebreaker fleet, over 40 vessels, and has heavily invested in northern military bases and infrastructure. For Russia, the Arctic is a strategic backyard. Russia holds a clear advantage due to its long experience extracting resources in harsh Arctic conditions. It produces gas in the Yamal Peninsula, oil in the Barents Sea, and nickel in Norilsk. The Kremlin does not want other powers, especially the United States, expanding influence in Greenland. The European Union holds a unique advantage. Greenland is a territory of Denmark, an EU member state. Although Greenland left the EU in 1985, it maintains a special relationship with Brussels. The EU views Greenland as a strategic mineral supplier to reduce dependence on China. In 2023, the EU and Greenland signed a critical raw materials partnership. Under the agreement, the EU pledged financial and technical support to help Greenland develop a sustainable mining sector. This is a strategic move to secure independent rare earth supplies for Europe. And then there is Donald Trump. In 2019, he first raised the idea of buying Greenland, triggering global criticism. Denmark's prime minister called the idea absurd. Trump responded by canceling a state visit. Now, back in the White House, he is once again talking about Greenland.
Reports suggest the Trump administration is considering multiple options, from direct payments to Greenland citizens to purchasing the entire territory. The figure of $100,000 per person has been mentioned as an incentive. But is this strategy truly viable?
Let's do the math. 57,000 people multiplied by $100,000 equals $5.7 billion. It sounds substantial, but compared to mineral resources potentially worth trillions, this could be an exceptionally attractive deal, not to mention the long-term military and geopolitical value. Greenland is not just about minerals. It is about geopolitical power in the 21st century. Whoever controls Greenland will wield significant influence over the Arctic, the North Atlantic, and emerging strategic shipping routes. Thule Air Base allows the United States to monitor nearly the entire Arctic region. Its radar systems can detect missile launches from Russia or China. In the age of hypersonic missiles and space warfare, every second of early warning is critical. In the digital age, undersea fiber optic cables across the Arctic could become vital arteries of the global internet. These routes are significantly shorter than existing transatlantic and trans-Pacific paths. Greenland is ideally positioned to become a major data hub. As ice melts, Arctic shipping routes could shorten travel time from Asia to Europe to just 2 or 3 weeks instead of 4 to 5. Greenland could become a key hub for resupply, repairs, and rescue operations, creating enormous economic opportunities. The paradox is that climate change, a global catastrophe, creates strategic opportunities for Greenland. The more ice melts, the more accessible resources become. The more sea routes open, the more geopolitically important Greenland grows. Ultimately, the final decision belongs to the people of Greenland. Under Denmark's constitution, Greenland has the right to self-determination. If they seek independence, Denmark must accept it. If they choose to sell or lease territory, that too is their legal right. The question is, are they willing? Surveys reveal a deeply divided Greenlandic society. Some seek full independence, others want to maintain ties with Denmark. A smaller group is even open to becoming part of the United States if it promises economic benefits. The harsh reality is Greenland's heavy dependence on Denmark. Nearly 60% of its budget, about $600 million annually, comes from Copenhagen. If independent, Greenland would need to stand on its own. Minerals may offer a path forward, but development would take decades. Greenland faces a serious demographic challenge.
Many young people leave the island for education and work abroad, while the elderly population grows. If this trend continues, an independent Greenland would struggle. This is why some see Trump's proposal as an opportunity rather than an insult.
So, what does Greenland have that Trump wants to buy? The answer is everything. Rare earths worth trillions of dollars, energy resources rivaling major producers, an irreplaceable geographic position, control of the Arctic. Greenland is not just an island, it is a key to the future. Will this deal ever succeed? It is difficult to say. Greenland does not want to be treated like a commodity. Denmark does not want to lose its strategic influence. But as economic and geopolitical pressures intensify, all scenarios remain possible. This may not be a direct purchase, but a far more complex and subtle arrangement.
Many experts believe a new model could emerge, Greenland remaining nominally independent, while maintaining a special relationship with the United States in defense and economic affairs. Similar to the relationship between the US and the Marshall Islands, America would invest in infrastructure, Greenlanders would gain economic benefits, and Washington would secure long-term strategic goals.
Regardless of the outcome, one thing is certain: Greenland will change forever. The ice is melting, the world is turning its gaze northward, and the treasures beneath millennia-old ice are about to be revealed. The next generation will witness the greatest transformation Greenland has seen since the first Inuit settlers arrived thousands of years ago.
The story of Greenland reminds us that in the 21st century, geopolitics is no longer just about territory, but about resources, technology, and control of the future. And sometimes, the most remote places hold the greatest opportunities. Greenland, once overlooked, has now become a focal point of the global power race.
Thank you for watching this video. If you found it valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support more in-depth analysis. Leave a comment below. Do you think Donald Trump could buy Greenland? And would that truly benefit the people of Greenland? See you in the next video.